Okay, so we know how to match partial strings now. In this class, I'm going to show you the in operator, which is this one. This operator is actually pretty useful for specifying a list of values. For example, here on this query, we use the in keyword to specify that we want restaurants whose name is either Taco Bell, Subway, or KFC. So think of it as an array of values, but they have to be the same type. In our example, we use strings, but you can definitely use numbers too, as long as they're the same. So our column name is a string, so that's why we have values that are strings here. All right, let's do an example in mode. All right, so we're gonna be using this table again, which is the San Francisco crimes, and then we run it. All right, so we get this table. Now this time, we want to return all crimes that happened during a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. So how are we going to do that? All right, so what we can do is, let me format this first, so how do we know what day of the week it is? Okay, so we have a column called day of the week. Okay, perfect, so that should work. So day of week equals, well, there's one thing that we can do. We can do Friday, or, because we've learned this before, the operators, or let's say Wednesday, and Monday. That technically would work. And let's run it. All right, so here you have, well, you only have Friday right now because it happens to be all Friday, but let's just order it randomly. So I'm gonna write a command that you have not seen yet, which is order by, and then I'm gonna order by random. And I'm gonna run this. So actually, I'm gonna use this opportunity to tell you something. So feel free to always Google certain things. If you don't know how to do certain things in SQL, feel free to Google it because there's actually a lot of commands. Many of the commands you can do it, like for example, the in. For example, this command, I could actually do it a lot easier with the command that we just learned today. We could have just done this, in, and then we wrote Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there's actually a lot of tricks that we can do, and no one knows all the tricks or no one knows all the syntax. It's very okay to go search for it, right? It might help you write your SQL query faster. All right, and then here I wanted to order it by random because currently what happened was when I ran this query, I only get the Fridays, but I wanted to show you that I'm getting Fridays, Wednesday, and Monday. And the way to do that is by, instead of ordering it in whatever order that they have it on, I want to order it by random. However, when I tried to execute this, it did not work. But that is okay. And the reason it didn't work is because the keyword I used is probably not compatible with Postgres. I think this is the database that we're using. So instead, what we can do is we can just Google it. How to order random Postgres, because I think this is the database management system that I'm currently using. Okay, so it seems like it's not rand, it's random. Let's see if that works. Random. Let's see if this works. All right, so the keyword is random. So as you can see now, I have some Mondays, some Wednesdays, some Fridays, and no Tuesday and no Thursday because I want the day of the week to be in Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And of course, like I said before, you can totally do this Monday but it does take a little bit longer and there are some limitations. But for now, you might not know what the limitations are. But what if, you have like many of these? Then it'll take you forever to write it, right? And there's actually another trick, is that day of the week in, you can actually give a subquery. This is a little bit more advanced, but I'm giving you guys a preview. You can do select day of the week, for example, day of week in, from the same table or just any other table. So your in operator can work on a query because this query essentially gives a list of values. So this actually works. So what if sometimes you can't list them all, but you have to use a query to get all of them? So for example, if I run this and then I get some values. So day of the week is basically every day because I am querying for the day of the week from this table. However, if I limit this table where day of week, let's use like. So I want it to start with a T, so aka Tuesday or Thursday. Usually you don't write queries like that because it's kind of confusing, but I just want to show you. So what do you think this is going to output? What kind of rows would you get? So I think that the rows that I'm going to get, they are going to be either Tuesday or Thursday. Why? Because this query now I've limited to only rows that are either Tuesday or Thursday. Why? Because I said that the day of the week should start with a T, right? So technically, let me show you what this query does. So if I run this query, then I just get one column of multiple rows of Thursdays and Tuesdays, right? And then this operator checks if the day of the week of this query is inside this result, this list of value, right? So what do you think will happen if I do a limit 1? Because we've learned what this does. So now this query only outputs one row. Oops. I think I selected something extra. Let's run this again. So now this only outputs Thursday. All right. So what do you think this whole query would output? I think it's only going to output rows or incidents that are from Thursday. Let's see if I'm right. Aha. See? Only Thursday. No Tuesday. And why is that? Because even if this query, you're supposed to query rows that are either Tuesday or Thursday because of the T, but you're only limiting to one. So your list of value, in essence, becomes the same thing as Thursday because that's actually the result of your query. So that query from before, the output is Thursday. So essentially this whole query becomes as simple as this because you only have one row. Back then, when we didn't have the limit 1, in some sense, you could think of it as having multiple values of Thursday and Tuesday. It was probably like this because you had multiple rows of Thursdays and Tuesdays. And then if I run this, then you're going to get Tuesday and Thursdays right here. Yeah. So that's pretty much for the in operator. And I hope that you like that little tidbit about how to Google certain SQL queries or certain SQL keywords and operators. Don't be afraid to Google it because every SQL relational database management system has a little bit of a difference in terms of syntax. But if you just Google it, you'd probably get an answer. So they all have the same concept, but just a little bit of different syntax. And don't limit yourself to one flavor of SQL. All right, I'll see you next time.